Ibrahim Traoré entered the cabinet room confident that Security Chief Ousmane Sankara had done his job. Every door checked, every window secured, every person vetted. What he didn't know was that Ousmane had deliberately left one door unlocked, one window vulnerable, and one threat inside the room. That threat was Ousmane himself. It was Monday, 9 a.m. President Traoré arrived at the presidential palace's conference hall. As always, Ousmane stood at his post, hand on his weapon, eyes scanning the room. "Morning briefing complete, Mr. President," Ousmane reported. All 12 ministers cleared, perimeter locked, backup teams in place. But something felt off. Ousmane's jaw was clenched, his eyes avoided contact. His voice, when speaking into his radio, had a sharpness that made Defense Minister Compaoré glance over in suspicion. Still, Traoré felt safe. For 3 years, Ousmane had been his closest line of defense, the man behind every route, every protocol, every decision that kept the president alive. That trust was about to become his greatest weakness. At exactly 9:23 a.m., while Finance Minister Zongo presented budget updates, Ousmane whispered into his radio, "Commence." The lights snapped off. Red emergency lights flickered. Electronic locks clicked. The air chilled as the ventilation died. "Power failure, sir," Ousmane said calmly, initiating lockdown protocol. But this was no accident. "For your safety, we should move to the secure bunker," he said, leading Traoré toward a side exit. Zongo, ever observant, caught something. "If this is a power failure," he asked, "how are your radios still active?" "Backup systems," Ousmane replied too quickly. Then came the giveaway. Instead of using his master key, Ousmane spoke into his radio. "Open passage now." The door unlocked from the outside. Traoré's instincts flared. "Ousmane, show me your radio logs." "Sir, we need to go." "Show me." Ousmane's hand moved toward his weapon. That was all Traoré needed. "Ministers, down!" Ousmane drew and fired. The bullet splintered the table inches from Traoré's head. "Secure the room," Ousmane barked. "No survivors." 3 armed men stormed in, not palace guards, but mercenaries in stolen uniforms. Compaoré, ex-military, tackled one. "Ousmane's turned. He's after the president." Chaos erupted. Ministers ducked behind chairs and tables. A peaceful meeting turned battleground. But Ousmane had miscalculated. Zongo activated the emergency communicator. "Presidential Guard, cabinet under attack. Chief Ousmane is compromised." Response: "En route, 60 seconds." Amid flying bullets, Traoré shouted, "Why, Ousmane?" The answer stunned him. "They offered 2 million, and they have my daughter." Ousmane wasn't just a traitor. He was desperate and blackmailed. "Where is she?" "Safe, if you die today." But loyalty held firm. Compaoré had seized a rifle. Zongo threw office supplies to distract attackers. Even Agriculture Minister Kabore joined the resistance, shielding colleagues with a chair. At 9:31 a.m., the door exploded open. Captain Diallo led elite guards into the room. "Drop your weapons." But it was already falling apart for Ousmane.
Ousmane's
One
plan had
mercenary was
fatal
bleeding
flaws.
out.
He'd
His
underestimated
radio
the
crackled.
presidential guard,
Abort
Compaoré's
mission.
training,
Backup
and
arrived
Zongo's
early.
sharp eyes.
90 seconds to full
Then
lockdown.
came the voice from Diallo.
A sniper dropped the second
"We
attacker.
have your daughter's location.
Ousmane's
Surrender
plan
now,
had fatal
and
flaws.
she lives."
He'd underestimated the
That
presidential
crushed Ousmane.
guard,
His
Compaoré's
leverage
training,
vanished.
and Zongo's
Escape
sharp
impossible.
eyes.
Team neutralized.
Then came the voice from Diallo.
In a final, desperate
"We have your
move,
daughter's location.
He grabbed Compaoré,
Surrender
pistol to
now,
his head.
and she
"Let
lives."
me leave, or he dies."
That crushed Ousmane.
Traoré stood.
His leverage
wounded,
vanished.
but resolute.
Escape impossible. Team
"You trained me
neutralized.
for this. You
In a
said
final
never
desperate
negotiate
move,
with hostage
he
takers."
grabbed Compaoré.
Diallo
pistol to
fired
his
one
head.
precise shot.
"Let me leave,
Ousmane fell,
or he dies."
but the story didn't end
Traoré
there.
stood,
The
wounded,
investigation.
but resolute.
What emerged
"You trained me
shocked
for this.
the nation.
You said
The
never
assassins were
negotiate
foreign
with
operatives,
hostage takers."
infiltrators using
Diallo
diplomatic
fired one
credentials.
precise shot.
Their mission was
Ousmane
orchestrated
fell,
by a foreign
but the story
intelligence
didn't end
network
there.
that had been targeting African
investigation,
security chiefs
what emerged,
using a
shocked
deadly
the
mix
nation.
of bribes
The
and
assassins
blackmail.
were foreign operatives,
Operation Codename,
infiltrators
Guardian
using
Angel.
diplomatic credentials.
Ousmane had been chosen
Their mission was
precisely because of his
orchestrated by a
access and
foreign
vulnerability.
intelligence network
A single
that had been
father.
targeting African
His
security
daughter,
chiefs
studying
using
abroad,
a deadly
had
mix
been
of
kidnapped.
bribes and blackmail.
He wasn't just a
Operation
traitor,
Codename,
Diallo reported later.
Guardian Angel.
He was a victim.
Ousmane
turned into
had
a
been
weapon.
chosen precisely
While
because of his
Traoré's guard
access and
defended the
vulnerability.
cabinet, special forces
single
across 3
father.
countries launched
His daughter,
simultaneous
studying
rescues.
abroad, had been
Ousmane's
kidnapped.
daughter was found alive.
He wasn't
along
just
with
a traitor,
hostages linked
Diallo
to
reported
17
later.
other compromised
He was a
African
victim,
officials.
turned into a
The
weapon.
attack on Traoré exposed the entire
While
Guardian
Traoré's
Angel
guard
network.
defended the cabinet,
The aftermath.
special forces
2
across
weeks
3
later,
countries
Traoré
launched
announced the
simultaneous
Continental Security
rescues.
Independence Initiative,
Ousmane's
a
daughter was
historic
found
move
alive,
toward Pan-African
along with
intelligence
hostages
sharing
linked
and
to
joint
17
protection
other
protocols.
compromised African
When
officials.
enemies turn our protectors against us,
The attack
Traoré
on
said,
Traoré
we must protect each
exposed
other.
the entire Guardian Angel
The very
network.
room where betrayal occurred became a
The
training
aftermath.
center, teaching African
2
guards
weeks
how
later,
to resist foreign
Traoré
coercion.
announced the Continental
Ousmane's
Security
daughter became a
Independence
powerful
Initiative,
voice for the families of
a
vulnerable
historic
officials,
move toward
helping
Pan-African
governments build
intelligence
protections
sharing
around
and
their
joint
security
protection
personnel.
protocols.
6 months later,
When enemies
the
turn our
initiative had
protectors
already
against
prevented
us,
12
Traoré
assassination
said,
attempts
we must protect
and
each other.
dismantled recruitment cells in
The very
8
room
countries.
where betrayal occurred became
Where
a
once
training
there was
center,
silence and manipulation,
teaching African guards
now
how to
there was
resist foreign
solidarity.
coercion.
Compaoré, whose quick
Ousmane's daughter
actions saved
became a
lives,
powerful voice
became head
for
of
the
the new
families of
Continental
vulnerable
Security
officials,
Coordination Office,
helping governments
leading a
build
new
protections
era of
around their security
Pan-African defense.
personnel.
Traoré stood
6
in the
months
rebuilt
later,
conference
the
room,
initiative had already
eyes
prevented
fixed on the
12
plaque.
assassination attempts
Ousmane
and
Sankara,
dismantled recruitment
protector.
cells in 8 countries.
Father, victim of
Where
foreign
once there was
manipulation,
silence and manipulation,
his sacrifice built
now there was
continental
solidarity.
security. Sometimes the
Compaoré,
greatest
whose
strength
quick action
lies not in
saved
stopping
lives,
betrayal,
became head
but
of
in
the new
understanding
Continental
why
Security
the betrayed
Coordination
turned.
Office, leading a new era of Pan-African defense. Traoré stood in the rebuilt conference room, eyes fixed on the plaque. Ousmane Sankara, protector. Father, victim of foreign manipulation. His sacrifice built continental security. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies not in stopping betrayal, but in understanding why the betrayed turned.